Hey everybody, Stephen Bryan here with GovSales University. Thanks for tuning in. We're here to cover Chapter 3. It's the Initial Government Agencies. We use the acronym IGA. So I've had a couple requests. People said, hey, we actually like to just see the videos of Jack. For those who have not watched any of our other videos, Jack Siney is the creator of GovSales University. 25 years of experience working in the public sector. Got a lot of things. And today, Chapter 3, he's breaking down how to sell to local, federal, and state government. So you can see in this course, each video, you can click start, but I want to show you how to sell to the federal government. Well, not me, actually Jack. So let's restart this video and I'll just let it do its magic.
In this next video on initial government agencies, we're going to tackle the federal agencies. Listen, these are the big deals, the whale deals, $100 million, $250 million, billion-dollar deals. The DoD right now is awarding a $10 billion tech contract. Like, as a side note, what's the commission on a $10 billion contract? Don't you wonder? I'd like to get one of those one day. Look, federal agencies, 500 agencies, employing 2 million folks, spending just over $4 trillion a year. Huge, huge, huge prospect, all right? The sales process, the thing is, with the federal agencies, is typically the most complex and the hardest to expedite. All of the federal procurements the guidelines for the federal procurements are done by the FAR. The regulations are the Federal Acquisition Regulations, the FAR. It provides the guidelines for all the federal purchases. So you want to make sure you're familiar with the FAR. Huge set of regulations. In the old days when they printed it, it took up a whole shelf on your bookshelf. All right? Now, the federal agency personnel are typically the hardest to connect with face-to-face. There's a lot of bureaucracy, and the process to get your payment can be the longest. So you want to prepare for that when you go after a government contract. The federal procurements can be processed centrally from their headquarters. Most of them are headquartered in Washington, D.C., or from their locations around the country, like a military base, say in Florida or Missouri or California. So they'll purchase from both locations, either centrally or all of their locations around the country. So you want to make sure you're monitoring both so you don't miss any. Again, the federal process, by far the most complex. Agency personnel are harder to get to. There's a lot of bureaucracy. You can't just walk in the Pentagon and say, hey, I'm here. I'd love to talk to somebody about a procurement. It doesn't work that way. The regulatory guidelines are the FAR, the Federal Acquisition Regulations, FAR. And then the process for obtaining payments can be the most challenging. So again, you want to make sure you account for all those variables as you start to pursue government business. And again, this should be the last place you start. It should be local, state, and then federal, unless you provide one of the items that's really beneficial for the federal government. Maybe you machine a part that goes on an aircraft carrier or a fighter jet. Or if you help with the operations of a military base. If you provide the uniforms or the food for a military base, these contracts can be super, super lucrative for you. So we encourage you, maybe that jumps to the forefront for you. Once you start working with federal agencies, you want to make sure you're aware of the budget cycle. So the federal budget cycle starts October 1st. It goes to the end of September. The federal government's going to have the most money at the beginning of October, and they'll have use or lose funds at the end of September. So you want to make sure you're really active during those times. To win a federal contract, you have to register for SAM, the System for Award Management, SAM, SAM.gov, and you have to renew that every single year. So make sure you stay registered with SAM. And lastly, listen, in the government, in the federal world, you want to make sure you monitor the subcontracting opportunities. When somebody wins a big $10 billion contract, they subcontract a lot of that out. Imagine winning a $10 million subcontracting opportunity from a big prime. Lastly, as you think about selling to the federal government, it's just like in private industry. If you're going after a big enterprise account, it's very different than if you're going after a small business. The same in the government sales space. If you're going after a big federal agency, it's very different than going after a small local agency. The federal agency takes a little longer. It can be more complex. But imagine winning a $10 billion contract, a $10 million contract, a $100 million contract. Imagine the change it would have for your company and it would have on your paycheck if you got the commission. All right? Till next time, God bless.